Scott, is that a parachute coming out of that motor?
Yes, it is.
I'm just making sure.
Well, hello everybody. This is Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific, and this is our 12th episode of the FirstLight Chronicles with Kent Marts. And normally Tyler Bowman is not on this program, but he was unable to give us an update yesterday, so I thought I would have him on today to give us an update on the astrophotography contest that's going on. I know that Kent's like ultra busy right now, getting ready for getting all these packages shipped out to everyone. Ken, I'll let you go on first. And you're muted. Of course.
Of course I'm muted. Okay. Hi, everybody. Things are crazy here. Long days. Orders are still pouring in. It's going to be a challenge to get anything today or later out by Christmas. Things are just so backed up and so tied up in the system. You know, the orders, we're going to try and get them out, but we're making no promises at this point.
Yeah. Well, our last day for ground shipment, where we thought it could make it to people at Christmas time, was December 12th. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So 15th
we're
is
still pushing every day.
orders are still coming in. I've gotten some very large orders from a couple of dealers today and yesterday, and you know, we're packaging them, trying to push them off the dock. So it's business is good, and I just keep stressing everybody out there. Our biggest challenge for 2020 is to find all these people who have bought telescopes and make them successful. We have got to do that to keep these people in this wonderful hobby that we all love, to make sure that, you know, we boost our numbers, because there's, you know, we get, you know, these millions of people who are involved with telescopes now. If we can keep them, they're all dark sky advocates. They're all become people that can give us weight to battle what I see as one of the biggest obstacles to amateur astronomy. When, you know, people my age growing up, we can see the stars with very little trouble. Now, for most people, it's hard to see them. They can't see the Milky Way.
You were here on Saturday answering customer service calls, and I was overhearing one of your conversations, and you were talking about light pollution and how, you know, that, you know, if someone was polluting your backyard with light, you know, neighbor's light was polluting your backyard with light, you know, if you called the police, they would just tell you to get lost, right? You know, like you're some sort of kook, you know, complaining about light pollution. But if they had a band playing next door and it was noise pollution, okay, you could definitely get the police to come over there and have them stop. You know, so you know, have you ever heard of anybody taking any kind of legal action on this? Or
There's been a couple of attorneys I've talked to over the last couple of years who I have actually broached that subject with, one who won a smell pollution lawsuit in Oklahoma.
a smell pollution?
A smell pollution. Won a lawsuit in Oklahoma that was appealed to the Oklahoma Supreme Court, and he won. I don't think it went to the U.S. Supreme Court. And I've talked to him. He actually came to that star party we had back in August, the Labor Day star party.
Bad, and he was able to
a hog farm. And
that's pretty bad.
yeah, it was a hog farm that came in and was not a pre-existing condition.
I see.
And so won the lawsuit, and he thought it was an interesting proposition. And then in the Arkansas Natural Sky Association, which is an affiliate of the International Dark Sky Association, it has talked about it as well. Bruce McMath has talked about that process and doesn't want to do it until he's absolutely certain, because he doesn't want to lose, because losing is bad. It's better just not to do anything.
Precedent that you lost, right?
That's correct.
Right. Yeah.
I think sooner or later it's going to happen.
Right.
It's just the way it goes.
Light
And
pollution's bad for people. It's bad for animals. It's bad for people. It's bad for the environment.
yep, it wastes electricity.
Doesn't stop crime, you know.
Yeah.
If it did, crime would not exist, right? We have,
Yeah,
right? They wouldn't exist.
there's more daylight, more crime during the day than
Sure.
there is at night. So if light was an antiseptic for crime, then there would be no crime in the daylight, because the light would stop it. Criminals need light too. They have to be able to see. You know, and I was talking, one of the ladies, I was doing
They need loud and they need light, right?
yes, I was doing the thing you were listening to. I was Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art. I did a thing for them on astronomy and light pollution. And a lady from Kansas City was just learning about it. And she said, what am I supposed to do? And I said, change your front porch lights, start in your own yard, take a look at your house,
Oh yeah.
and then talk to your neighbors about it. And she says, well, everybody wants more light to keep crime down. And I said, I can hide in the shadow.
There are people that are afraid of the dark. They're just
Bingo.
Yeah.
They're afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
And I said, if your house lights, if you got security lights around your yard all night long, nobody's standing up watching outside to see who's in your backyard. But if you put your lights on motion detectors and suddenly the lights pop on, and there is a criminal trying to break into your house at night, and those lights pop on, and maybe set off an alarm in your house so you can go look at the back door or something, that's going to drive criminals away.
Yeah, that would
but
be
it's not.
valid.
Yeah, you know, and we're not talking about art installations like Crystal Bridges has the north lights, the Northwood lights, and they light up the lights, and you know that's an art installation. It's transient. That stuff's fine, you know.
Oh yeah, and you could still, even with all that stuff going on, and I've been through that installation, you can look up at the sky and still see the stars, you know, so.
Because we're not talking about no light. Mm-hmm. We're simply talking about controlling the direction and
smart light.
Sir?
Smart light.
Smart light. The light right, the light amount of right, the right amount of light in the right location when you need it. I was getting tongue-tied. The right amount of the right kind of light in the location where you need it and when you need it. That's not just all the time.
The right light when the light is right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got to start talking about that more as an industry. And as amateur astronomers, take action with your own yard first. Start talking to your neighbors. You know, go to the International Dark Sky Association. It's dark-sky.org, I believe.
Yeah.
And read up. They've got massive amounts of data, now, examples.
Mike Wiesner just chatted that there have been some successful legal challenges to light pollution.
Yeah. So it'd be, hey, Mike, send me some links if you've got some, because I've not seen those. But it would be an interesting thing for me to read up on and see how they did. I'd love to see that stuff.
Sure. Yep. All right.
And Mike is heavily involved in International Dark Sky.
Much.
Yeah.
Very
right.
much. Yeah.
In fact, Mike, I worked on the Buffalo River International Dark Sky Project, which is now the longest and narrowest international dark sky park in the world. 150 miles long and averages less than a mile wide.
Oh, wow.
So
Very
if you ever get a chance, go float the Buffalo River. It's a beautiful river. Very little, almost no pollution. It's in very, very rural in the Ozark Mountains. No light along the river at all. It's pretty nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Kent, we're going to let you get back to taking care of those customers. Thank you for popping in today.
And everybody, you know, jump in. Find somebody got a telescope for Christmas. Help them figure it out. That's what we got to do. That's your challenge for 2020. I'm gone. See y'all.
Take care.
Thanks,
Kent.
Scott. Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Tyler. Behave yourself.
Behave yourself. That's right. All right, Tyler, you're on, man. Let's talk about the Astrophotography Contest.
All right, gentlemen. We have 62 actual entries now.
62. Okay.
Now remember, still goes on to the 24th, people.
I need at least 100 entries. I mean, come on.
I can't. I can preach for so long, but my soapbox is about to break. I stand on it for so much. Let's see here. Let me bring up the share screen function. Share screen. There we go.
How about this picture behind you? This
that
you got behind
that
you.
was taken with a Ellen Hans.
Is that your image?
Yes, with our 80 millimeter FCD 100 refractor.
Good for you, man. Nice image.
But right now we're going to talk about bees. I know last time I was on, we talked about this particular bee from the Astrophotographer. That's
That's right.
F-A photographer.
Mhm.
His name is James Hubbard, I do believe. He's got a great bee. So this guy's in the running for the terrestrial stuff right now.
Okay.
And he's got a great shot of Jupiter and its wonderful 4 moons.
Yeah.
Comet Neowise.
It's all James, huh?
All James so far.
Wow, look at that.
It's there's some towards the bottom end of the list that came in later today, early this morning. But James has been the most recent so far, and that's where we'll start.
Okay.
And there's the good lordy, which one? Oh, yeah, the dumbbell. That's it.
Dumbbell. Yeah.
And here's a good shot of Pleiades.
Pretty.
It's a good little shot there.
Mhm.
I don't know which cluster this is. Is that M13?
That looks like M13.
Okay, I can never tell the difference between the clusters. I honestly can't.
Yeah, you look at the way the stars trail off it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looks like it.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't look at M92, which is also in Hercules, and beautiful globular cluster, which has like a tighter core. You know.
I know there's 2, M15 and M2, correct? In Hercules?
M13 and M92.
92? Okay.
Yep. Next time, look at M92.
Oh.
It deserves a look, and it's lonely. You know, very few people look at it. They always look at it M13 like it's the most beautiful thing in the world, but then poor M92. You know, out there shining as bright as it can, and so.
I just wrote it down, so it's going to be my target.
Okay.
There's a good time lapse with Polaris right smack dab in the middle.
Okay, I like that.
Love time lapses like this.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like I'm Star Wars.
It's like James is getting creative there. That's cool.
He is. Another time lapse. There's Orion's Nebula. This is the new one from Mr. Edwin Sanchez. This came in early this morning.
Nice.
Another one from Edwin Sanchez, and this is the inner core of the rosette.
Oh wow, golden.
It is.
Color. Yeah.
And then James Hubbard again with some squirrels.
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
Cute. Those are baby squirrels, right?
Those are, well, the other ones, these are babies. Now, this one looks like mama's that's trying to watch the
Yeah,
baby.
like what the heck are you doing taking pictures of me?
What are you doing? I got to watch my kids, darn kids.
Darn it.
And then that looks like mama again. I mean, there's a lot of good detail in there. You can see the little 2 nicks in her ear
Yeah.
that she's
Yeah.
got.
Nice. I like the expression it has on its face.
It's like, what the crap? M78 from Mr. M. Hendricks, Marty Hendricks.
Look at all the dark nebulosity in there.
I like that picture.
Fields,
It's really cool.
glowing gas off to the side there. Cool.
Another one from Mr. Hendricks.
Yeah. The
See, ice.
classic horsehead flame nebula shot. Yeah.
See, that's what is it? Attic star?
Mm-hmm.
That I always get that thing blown out, no matter what I do. I don't know if it's just because my exposure's set too high or what. I want to take some notes from these guys.
Yeah.
And then there's another one from Mr. Marty Hendricks again.
Look how much more.
Yeah, much more detail.
Yeah.
Much more.
Interesting.
And that's it. That's all we've gotten so far from the Bumble
So far since. Okay. All right.
62. So I'm demanding or
I
hope.
just need like 38 more images submitted.
Yep.
So
Let's have it.
let's get them. Let's do it.
Well, what do we got to do to get it?
I don't
We gotta
know.
Do we have to give away something? I mean, we're already giving away great
We
prizes.
are giving away stuff. We are. I think it's
What do we
pretty
got to
cool,
do to
so.
entice people?
That's
You know,
right. That's right. Plus, they'll have the credibility of winning that contest, right?
it's true. They will.
They
They'll get a
will.
nice little print for them for
Right.
themselves. Big print, as Kent says. Big print.
Cool.
So
Very cool. Well, thanks to everybody who has participated in that, and we will continue to have contests. I will tell you that we have also become the official sponsors of the Astronomical League's contests. So they're going to have like an annual type of thing. And there is a female category for women astrophotographers specifically with the Wilhelmina Prize. So that is coming up, and so that's something that I'm excited about. But somebody asked, is the contest over? No, it's not. So when does it end, Tyler?
Find my unmute button. It ends December 24th.
December 24th. You still got time.
Plenty of time.
That's right. Enter and win prizes. And your photo doesn't have to be a brand new, fresh photo. This could be a photo you took 10 years ago if you want.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Right. So as long as it was done with an Explore Scientific telescope, and 10 years ago would have been about the time that I started this company. We started in 2008.
Yep.
And so you couldn't have done it too much earlier than 10 years ago, but you still could have done it. So, yep. Anyhow, I mentioned kind of at the first of this program today that today is the 50th anniversary of a soft landing on another planet. It was done by Russia's Venera 7 probe. And the Venera, which means Venus, I guess, in Russian, it was very successed. They didn't last very long because they found out that Venus's surface was, incredibly hot, so hot that it would melt lead like ice. Okay, and it's amazing they made spacecraft that could actually land. And it wasn't the Venera 7 that got photographs, but it did send back data. And so it was the first time they got data from another planet in the solar system, humanity I'm talking about. And that we were able to soft land, successfully touch down on another planet. So that's a monumental point. And and the latest news about Venus, of course, is the controversy. I guess some controversy, or at least a giant argument over whether or not the gas phosphine was detected in the Venusian atmosphere. Okay, there's a team that feels pretty confident that they did. There's another subsequent observations where they say they didn't. So it's going to continue to rage on until we get more observations, and maybe we send a spacecraft out to somehow scrape the Venusian atmosphere and find out for ourselves. So, but I think that will be something that, if they do discover life, wow, that's huge news. Okay, and it wouldn't have been life that had come from Earth per se. Or maybe not likely, because the stellar wind blows out, right? And Venus is closer to the sun than we are. So there is some thought that if we find life on Mars, that perhaps it came from Earth, because we've been struck by asteroids, material flew up into space, stellar winds would have blown it out to the other planets, and maybe some of it took root on Mars. And so that is one of the theories, if in fact we find life in the mud of Mars. So we'll learn more as time goes on. But anyways, I'm going to take a look and see who's with us and see what kind of comments we have today. Actually, a lot of people are commenting today.
Good.
We have Stefan Del Pra with us, Bergman Scooter, Book Davy is with us, Andrea Villarreal is with us. Andrea. We have Book Davy saying congratulations to Jerry Hubble and the Alpo on the new exoplanet section that's starting up. So that's great. There's even guys now discovering moons, exomoons around exoplanets. So we'll get Jerry to talk about that, and perhaps get the researcher that is working on that problem of how to detect that. Michael Whitaker is with us saying good evening. Mike Wiesner says, hello from sunny Arizona. Jupiter and Saturn looked neat together through the telescope last evening. Bethel Douglas Barrett, you guys getting just about all of my retirement time and income, but I'd have it no other way. Thank you very much. That's great. Bergman comments, it's been cloudy and foggy for the last 3 days on the Gulf Coast. You must have bought an eyepiece or something, Bergman. Yeah. Book Davies says, I still got clouds. That means he bought something even more expensive than an eyepiece. Jeff Miller, I remember going to the observatory in 1980, one of the coolest places I've ever been. Hope to get back someday. Let's see. Jeff Wise is with us. Happy Tuesday. Mike Wiesner says he was talking about the legal challenges of light trespassing. You know, quality of life is a key. That's right. So if you find that intruding light is ruining your quality of life, like your life as an amateur astronomer, plus all the other bad stuff it does. I mean, it's not like light pollution does nothing. It's lethal to wildlife. So Bethel Douglas Barris says, tackle the issue with homeowners associations, HOAs. We have no street lights in our neighborhood and love it. That's great. And Mike Wiesner is congratulating Kent. The Buffalo River application was super. Very dark place. Conrad Sanders wants to know, where do we submit images? Tyler?
You, Mr. Scott can post a link in the actual YouTube.
Yes, he can.
But you can go to our website at explorescientific.com.
Yeah.
And it's under our
Here,
Alliance Plus.
Yeah, I will post it. Here it comes.
If you go to Alliance Plus, it's under Events and Experiences. And it's the second tab down called Explore Alliance Astrophotography Contest.
Conrad says that my neighbor has white lights on her deck for her dogs. I don't think dogs need white light.
I don't understand why.
It probably keeps the dogs from seeing what's in the dark.
Oh, Lord. I do have these neighbors that have a yelper of a dog.
Stefan wants to know how many photos you've gotten per category. Do you know that number?
I can actually look here real quick. So right now there are 41 deep sky objects.
Okay.
1 for planetary, 11 for lunar, 3 for wide field, 2 for time lapse, and 4 for terrestrial.
Awesome. Okay. So only 4 for how many for time lapse? 2?
4 or 2.
2. Yep. Okay. Well, there's some good odds right there. We need more time lapse. We need more terrestrial shots.
We need more planetary. We only have 1
planetary, right?
Yep.
There we go.
There's no solar. Wink, wink, hint, hint. No solar.
Oh, geez. 1 solar image could win it, right?
Exactly. For that category, you could win the whole kit and caboodle.
Right? Yeah, but we don't have solar well.
Yeah, we do.
You know, guys have.
We have the AR.
Some pretty awesome, very awesome shots of the sun with a Explore Scientific AR-152.
And the 127, the 102.
Oh, yeah. Jason Gunzel, the Vast Reaches, did a shot that I have shown to amateurs and very, very serious solar photographers, and they're blown away by what can be done. So, yeah.
That guy can do a bunch of crazy stuff with a little AR.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and Conrad Sanders says he has a Celestron telescope. But if you have any piece of Explore Scientific gear in your imaging train or mount, that qualifies you. So there you go.
That is one of the qualifications. You have to fill out the form saying that what equipment you used.
But for all of you people out there that don't have any Explore Scientific equipment, that's okay too. We are, as I mentioned, we are sponsoring the Astronomical League's Astrophotography Contest, and you're going to want to enter that. That is something we are going to be pumping as well. But we'll continue to do Explore Scientific Astrophotography Contest as well. I think
Of
it's
course.
fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Better prizes.
better prizes. So I'm curious about something, Tyler. Do you own any meteorites? Do you like meteorites?
You know, I've always been fascinated by meteorites, and I'd like to get my kids more involved in it. I'd love to. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that fascinates me with Jerry's studies about the spectrum scale of stars.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to do it one day.
Sure.
Probably when I retire and the kids go off to college. And
Why
Scott
wait that long?
and Scott doesn't have to work me to death 12, 16-hour days.
Well, that's never going to stop. So,
It seems like
but
doesn't
that gives, if you have a 16-hour day, it gives you what, 3-4 hours of observing time, right?
I mean, I could just bring the stuff here at work and just
What?
work and just
Do it. Fire it up, man. They got those scripting software. You just press like one button and it does everything by itself anyway.
true. That is true. I could do that. And I can get yours out too and do it as well.
You could. You could. I have one here. Okay, you don't even need to bring yours. All right.
True, but I like my gear too.
You like your okay? So we'll have dueling telescopes out there.
Responsible for breaking something of yours. That's the-
Oh, that's true. Yeah, might go ballistic, right?
you know, you might go ballistic, charge me double for what I paid for mine. So
That's right. Just back charge you.
yeah, exactly. Work
right.
it off. But what brings to the question about the meteorites?
Well, I'm going to run I found this really cool video from the European Space Agency about searching for meteorites in Antarctica. You know, and it's this expedition. It's a little bit longer video, so that's the reason why I added in the latter part of this program.
Yes.
But you know, a good friend of mine who wrote a book on meteorites was Mike Reynolds, and Mike has passed on, but his book is still awesome, and you can still find it out there. And I will, while the video's running, I will post a link to where you can buy the book. But there's lots of places you can go to find meteorites, and one of the ways is finding meteoric dust, and you can do that by taking like a mop, you know, like and instead of using the bristles on the mop, you can put magnets on there, okay, and then what you do is you take saran wrap and plastic wrap and you wrap it around the magnets, and now you go over like where a drain is or something like that, or even anywhere in your parking lot, you know, or on the sidewalk, and just clean off a space with the magnet, okay? And you grab the ends of the bag like that, or the plastic wrap, and then you've got stuff in there that was metal shavings or whatever, okay? All right, get rid of that. Go back in subsequent days and keep doing that over this area. The stuff that you pick up will be meteoric dust. Some of it will, anyways, because it's floating down in the atmosphere. And so, yep. And you can do that with the kids, and you can say that you discovered or found your own meteorite stuff.
It's interesting. I'll have to get my little kids out. Yeah.
I'm not sure if the kids would find that fun or not, but
I don't care. It gives them out of the house.
that's right.
Gets them out of the
Stefan wants to know if he can scribble out the lunt on his solar telescope and write Explore Scientific to be eligible. Maybe.
It's a kicker. With want.
If you, if you like laser engrave, you know, I don't know. The guys over at Lunt might get angry. So.
I mean, I got stickers. Oh, it's not going to show. I got stickers.
Yeah, you got a black hole in your hand.
Yeah, well.
Mark Hughes says, Scott, it would be perfect to mount a rig up on your roof, a permanent setup. Yeah, I don't know about our roof though. I don't know if that's a good place.
Why not?
Could do solar during the day and do and DSOs at night. Norm, we have fiberglass observatory domes coming. So when those come, maybe what we do is we set up a dome.
That's what I'm waiting for.
So that's right. Me too.
You just put your stuff in there and we just log in and just image.
All the time. That's right.
So that's
Get any work done. That's
yes,
right.
sir.
Is there, Mike Wiesner wants to know, is that a feature of the ES metal detector? No, but It
I
would
mean,
have to be a
yeah.
pretty big meteorite to be detected by the metal detectors we
Yeah.
have. Jim Norwood says rare earth magnets work best, very powerful.
Yeah, they start with an N. I can't think of the word. Neridium magnets, Noridium. I think that's what they're called. Those are some pretty strong earth magnets.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
like the one that picked up during that James Bond movie where they picked up the car and then dropped it out over the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
That helicopter.
Those I can't separate. Those are strong. They're strong.
Dave Ing says, for the contest, the form uses my Google account, but also asks for an email address. Can they be different accounts?
Yes, I don't see why not. As long as you're putting your information in there, David, it shouldn't be much of an issue, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
If you do have any issues, though, just send me an email, David, and I'll get it figured out for you.
We'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's right. We solve problems.
I don't know what Scott does. It's what I do.
I make problems for you to solve. Okay.
That's correct.
That's our relationship right there in a nutshell.
That's basically it.
All right. I think you guys are going to love this little, it's a short documentary, runs about 20 minutes long, but I think you're going to really like it. I found it fascinating. And we will be back tomorrow with Jerry Hubble. Or is Jerry on vacation?
No,
Not yet. Not yet. That's right. So he'll be back with us. We can talk to him. We can ask him more about the Alpo exoplanet program. And you guys can join Alpo and get involved in that program with him. In the meantime, hope you guys love this video. I think it's great, and we will see you mañana. Take care.
See you later.
Later. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Gone down that way.
Maybe 70%. lot further away from help here than we are just about anywhere else I've ever worked. Certainly, we're several hundred miles from the nearest support, and there's no guarantee that that support could actually show up if we were to need it. So we have to be very self-sufficient for long periods of time.
I'm sitting here about 500 kilometers from the South Pole in the middle of Antarctica on a pile of rubble, a moraine that was pushed by that formerly huge glacier that you see in the background here. That's now almost gone, exposing everything that was transported in the ice, and that's exactly why down there we found about 300 meteorites.
If something out of this, all these samples turns out to be a Martian or a lunar sample, that's a very special thing to be involved with, is seeing that in the field. It's a little harder to identify Martian meteorites. They look very similar to some of the other asteroidal meteorites, but certainly many of the lunar meteorites are easily distinguishable. And to be able to see that on the ice and go, wow, that came from the moon, and here I am, being able to pick that up. When was the last time that we were on the moon to collect samples? The important thing about sending humans to the moon or Mars is the context from which the samples were obtained. And that's a very important scientific piece of information that is lacking with these rocks that we get here.
One of the things that I think can be really incredible to hold is an iron meteorite, because they're solid nickel iron minerals. They're incredibly dense. They're about 3 times for size the weight of a normal rock you might pick up off the crust of the earth. And so just even feeling their mass, you're feeling something really different, but it's a natural rock that comes from, we think, the crystallizing core of sort of mini planets.
Doing field work and having teams here in Antarctica will support future lunar exploration, and preparing not just the astronauts but the engineers who are going to be supporting the space missions, as well as the engineers who are doing things like designing the spacesuits. Future exploration using both humans and robotic spacecraft or robotic assists for humans is absolutely the way that we're going. And so we know that robots can explore planetary surfaces. What robots can't do really efficiently is recognize whether something is a meteorite or a terrestrial sample, and those are things that only human beings can do, and it has complete relevance to the way we might explore the lunar surface, for example.
So microtectites, you have a big asteroid that hits, and this one hit somewhere in Indochina or Southeast Asia, and it was so energetic that the impact was so oblique or so kind of angled to Earth that when it hit, it melted the Earth on impact, and then it traveled all the way to Antarctica. To me, it's amazing how far this stuff travels. It's interesting all the different missions that are happening now to see how we can mitigate if there is an asteroid that is coming close, what we could do to kind of push it off the orbit a little bit, and how people are realizing it's a real threat and kind of trying to figure out how to mitigate that threat.
Noch interessanter finde ich persönlich erstmal, weil es sehr relevant ist für alle Menschen im Prinzip auf diesem Planeten, ist, dass wir ja irgendwann mal vielleicht in die Situation kommen, wo wir die Erde von einem Asteroiden schützen müssen, der Kurs auf unseren Planeten genommen hat, und dann uns vielleicht eine Mission überlegen müssen, wie wir diesen Asteroiden umleiten, um ihn von der Erde wegzuschleppen zum Beispiel. Und da ist es sehr wichtig zu wissen, aus was diese Asteroiden gebaut sind, was für Material das ist, mit dem wir es zu tun haben. Die Dichte, die Oberflächenbeschaffenheit, die Bruchfestigkeit, wenn wir da vielleicht einen Anker in diesem Asteroiden befestigen, hält der dann und so weiter und so fort. Das ist sehr wichtig, und das können wir tatsächlich aus diesen Meteoriten ableiten, die wir hier in der Antarktis finden.
I guess we are live again. We had power failure. Um, and anyways, I'll start back up the video that we were watching. Maybe I can find the probably just start over at the beginning. Anyways, we will resume, and thanks for your patience.
Gone down that way.
Maybe 70%.
lot further away from help here than we are just about anywhere else I've ever worked. Certainly, you know, we're several hundred miles from the nearest support, and there's no guarantee that that support could actually show up if we were to need it. So we have to be very self-sufficient for long periods of time.
I'm sitting here about 500 kilometers from the South Pole in the middle of Antarctica on a pile of rubble, a moraine that was pushed by that formerly huge glacier that you see in the background here. That's now almost gone, exposing everything that was transported in the ice, and that's exactly why down there we found about 300 meteorites.
If something out of this, all these samples turns out to be a Martian or a lunar sample, that's a very special thing to be involved with, is seeing that in the field. It's a little harder to identify Martian meteorites. They look very similar to some of the other asteroidal meteorites, but certainly many of the lunar meteorites are easily distinguishable. And to be able to see that on the ice and go, wow, that came from the moon, and here I am, being able to pick that up. When was the last time that we were on the moon to collect samples? The important thing about sending humans to the moon or Mars is the context from which the samples were obtained. And that's a very important scientific piece of information that is lacking with these rocks that we get here.
Let's head it down to ground floor.
One of the things that I think can be really incredible to hold is an iron meteorite, because they're solid nickel iron minerals. They're incredibly dense. They're about 3 times for size the weight of a normal rock you might pick up off the crust of the earth. And so just even feeling their mass, you're feeling something really different, but it's a natural rock that comes from, we think, the crystallizing core of sort of mini planets.
Doing field work and having teams here in Antarctica will support future lunar exploration, and preparing not just the astronauts, but the engineers who are going to be supporting the space missions, as well as the engineers who are doing things like designing the spacesuits. Future exploration using both humans and robotic spacecraft or robotic assists for humans is absolutely the way that we're going. And so we know that robots can explore planetary surfaces. What robots can't do really efficiently is recognize whether something is a meteorite or a terrestrial sample, and those are things that only human beings can do, and it has complete relevance to the way we might explore the lunar surface, for example.
So microtectites, you have a big asteroid that hits, and this one hit somewhere in Indochina or Southeast Asia. And it was so energetic that the impact was so oblique, or so kind of angled to Earth, that when it hit, it melted the Earth on impact, and then it traveled all the way to Antarctica. I mean, it's amazing how far this stuff travels. It's interesting, all the different missions that are happening now to see how we can mitigate if there is an asteroid that is coming close, what we could do to kind of push it off the orbit a little bit, and how people are realizing it's a real threat and kind of trying to figure out how to mitigate that threat.
Noch interessanter finde ich persönlich erstmal, weil es sehr relevant ist für alle Menschen im Prinzip auf diesem Planeten, ist, dass wir irgendwann mal vielleicht in die Situation kommen, wo wir die Erde von einem Asteroiden schützen müssen, der Kurs auf unseren Planeten genommen hat, und dann uns vielleicht eine Mission überlegen müssen, wie wir diesen Asteroiden umleiten, um ihn von der Erde wegzuschleppen zum Beispiel. Und da ist es sehr wichtig zu wissen, aus was diese Asteroiden gebaut sind. Was für Material das ist, mit wem wir es zu tun haben. Die Dichte, die Oberflächenbeschaffenheit, die Bruchfestigkeit, wenn wir da vielleicht einen Anker in diesem Asteroiden befestigen, hält der dann und so weiter und so fort. Das ist sehr wichtig und das können wir tatsächlich aus diesen Meteoriten ableiten, die wir hier in der Antarktis finden.
So what I would like to be able to do is get the terrestrial ages of the meteorites and then compare that to the age of the moraine. And the difference between those ages may give me some idea of what the transport time of the meteorite in the blue ice was between the time it fell and the time it ended up here on the moraine. So then the question is, well, how is it that in some areas we find hundreds of meteorites and in other areas we don't find so many? And so the answer is there has to be some concentration mechanisms. And the traditional idea has been that it's the movement of the ice sheets that concentrates these meteorites. The other thing is that we've been out here and we've experienced a little bit of this, is that the winds are just horrendous. And so we know that for the smaller meteorites, the winds can push them along the ice sheets. And so we know that we find lots of meteorites in windrows and on these little moraines.
It's amazing to feel like I'm the first person ever to see this rock, maybe, or that piece of snow. It's really unique. I never thought I would do this, even a few years ago.
We're gonna be making breakfast tacos. All right, we have Christmas and New Year's dinner.
Johnny, what do you want to tell us? Yay! Wow, more. Oh, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Okay, January 11th, 1912, Amundsen. At last the weather has improved. After having snowed all day, it stopped. We did not expect this. The weather has improved gradually, and it seems that we have good weather in prospect. We are lying in the cairn at 84:15. We'll reach our depot tomorrow.
Little tiny tent feels like a home. The more time I've spent here, the bigger and bigger the tent feels, and it feels like we're all family, and we've all become so close in such a short amount of time that it just feels normal.
hardest rock.
It looks like to me it's gonna dump a lot of snow, or at least make it pretty unpleasant to come out here.
I think that was an amazing documentary. I'm glad you guys stuck around to watch it. Sorry for the power interruption, but anyhow, we'll see you tomorrow. And in the meantime, get some rest. And if you have clear skies, don't get some rest. Go out and look and explore. We'll see you tomorrow at about 4 o'clock Central Time. Take care.